Broad daylight and she's gone. A group of ruthless men storm a suburban home, snatching a mother and leaving a trail of blood behind. But these kidnappers made one critical mistake. They didn't realize who they were dealing with. She isn't just a teacher. She's a woman fighting for her family's life. With only a shattered phone, she places a desperate call to a complete stranger. Suddenly, a reckless, immature guy on a beach becomes the only thing standing between her and a cold-blooded execution. This is a story of a race against time, where one wrong move means death. Let's dive into a high-stakes thriller where a single, frantic phone call changes everything. It's a quiet morning in the kitchen. Suddenly, the door splinters. 3 men burst in, and before anyone can blink, they've snatched Jessica. This wasn't just a burglary. This was a brazen, daylight abduction. When the maid reached for the phone, the lead intruder didn't hesitate. He fired, silencing her instantly. Panic set in. Jessica, terrified and confused, was shoved into a car and hauled off to a secluded, decaying house. The men were cold, calculated, and professional. One man, Ethan, slammed Jessica into a room and left her trembling, clueless as to why she was targeted. She was just a high school teacher, a woman of simple routines and quiet life. But as the fear settled, so did the realization. This wasn't a random mugging. They wanted leverage. They wanted something she had. She needed to escape, but Ethan returned, hammer in hand, and smashed the landline to pieces. She was cut off, trapped. But Jessica is a science teacher, and she wasn't going to roll over and die. She scavenged the wreckage of the phone, determined to reach the outside world. Thousands of miles away, Ryan was aimlessly strolling on the beach, living a life of privilege and zero responsibility. He bumped into his ex, Chloe, who chewed him out for his immaturity. Ryan, predictably, was more interested in his new camera phone than her lecture. Just as he agreed to help with her charity work, his phone rang. The voice on the other end was frantic, broken, and terrified. It was Jessica. She had somehow bridged the fried wires of that ruined landline, and by pure, blind luck, the call went to Ryan. "Please," she sobbed, "they're gonna kill me." Ryan was skeptical. Who gets kidnapped and manages to make a phone call? But then, he heard the raw, agonizing terror in her voice. He realized this wasn't a prank. He raced to the police, but the bureaucracy was a nightmare. They brushed him off, told him to wait, and shoved him from one desk to another while the clock ticked down. Back at the hideout, Ethan was tightening the screws. He hauled Jessica up and bound her to a pillar. Through the open line, Ryan heard every scream. Ethan wasn't just holding her. He was hunting for something her husband, a legal clerk, had uncovered, evidence of corruption that could destroy them all. Now they were moving on to the next phase. Grabbing her son, Ricky, from school to force her hand. Ryan had 15 minutes before the school bell rang. He burned rubber, hitting the school parking lot with seconds to spare. It was a sea of kids, and he had no idea what the boy looked like. He was running blind, dodging teachers, desperate to spot the target before the kidnappers did. He saw the thugs, they saw him, and then the chase was on. A chaotic, high-speed scramble through city traffic ended in a pileup. His car was wrecked, his phone battery was dying, and he was cornered. But Ryan, that reckless, immature guy from the beach, found a gear he didn't know he had. He fought for a new battery at a local shop, holding the clerk at gunpoint to get what he needed. Finally reconnecting with Jessica just as Ethan loomed over her. Phone in hand, realizing exactly who she had been talking to. "What's that old place?" Jessica pleads, her voice trembling. She claims she has no idea, but Ethan isn't buying it. He gestures toward the window. Down below, her young son, Ricky, is being held at gunpoint by one of Ethan's thugs. Jessica's fear instantly turns to blind, animalistic rage. She lunges at Ethan, desperate to reach her child, but he slams her back against the floor with brutal force. Agony ripples through her body, but she's helpless. On the other end of the line, Ryan hears it all. The struggle, the muffled cries, and the suffocating realization that if he doesn't act now, Jessica is a dead woman. With a gun pressed to her son's head, Jessica finally breaks. She gives them the location, a bar in Los Angeles where they used to meet. Suddenly, music blares through the phone. It's a distraction. A woman in a passing car is singing along to the radio, and luckily, the noise masks their conversation. Ethan doesn't suspect a thing, and he leaves. Jessica whispers to Ryan that if these kidnappers find her husband, Craig, the entire family is doomed. They've seen these men's faces, and there's no coming back from that. Ryan promises her it will be okay. He's heading to the airport to intercept them. Jessica describes Ethan's appearance so Ryan can track him down. Just then, a blue car pulls up alongside Ryan. His phone signal latches onto the car's Bluetooth. Desperate, Jessica screams into the speaker that she's been kidnapped, but the driver thinks it's a prank and just laughs it off. Ryan doesn't hesitate. He forces the man out, swipes the phone, and takes the car. He races to the airport, knowing he has to tip off Craig. At the ticket gate, he masterfully lifts a ticket from an unsuspecting traveler and plants a handgun in Ethan's luggage. Security swarms, but Ethan flashes a police badge, and just like that, he's gone. Ryan realizes he's dealing with someone far more dangerous than he imagined. He tracks Craig to a restroom and shoves him into a stall, hoping to keep him hidden. But it's a mistake. He's grabbed the wrong guy. He watches helplessly as the real Craig is dragged away by Ethan. They finally bring the couple face to face. Craig is devastated, apologizing to his wife for dragging her into this nightmare. He reveals the truth. The evidence of Ethan's corruption and his ring of dirty cops is locked in a high-security bank vault. Takes 2 keys to open it, and Ethan is determined to get his hands on it. 2 corrupt officers escort Craig to the bank while Jessica stays on the line with Ryan. Ryan abandons the car, grabs a taxi, and screams for the driver to get to the city bank. Head tried the police earlier, but they treated his desperate calls as a sick joke. That morning, Officer Mooney had visited Jessica's home, but a woman posing as Jessica turned him away, claiming it was all just a prank. She was Ethan's girlfriend, planted to throw the cops off the scent. But the TV news reports that a young man, Ryan, had been at the station insisting on the kidnapping. When they finally checked Jessica's line and it went dead, Mooney realized the horrifying truth. This wasn't a joke, and Ryan was telling the truth. Meanwhile, Ryan is stalking the bank. Craig opens the safe deposit box and hands over the goods, but Ryan is watching from the shadows. He launches a surprise attack, trying to drag Craig to safety. They're overpowered. With no other choice, Ryan grabs the duffel bag full of files and sprints for the roof. Ethan's right on his heels. Paralyzed by fear, Ryan has to move. He takes a leap of faith, his phone shattering on impact, but he slips into a drainage pipe, sliding down to the street. He's lost the drop on them, but he's got the bag. Ethan is livid. He signals his men to close the net, surrounding the perimeter. Ryan doesn't have a second to mourn his broken phone. He's running for his life, dodging police and thugs alike. He makes it to a cab, breathless, and finally opens the bag. He has to know what was worth killing for. Inside, he finds a camcorder. He hits play. It's a video recorded by Craig himself, a smoking gun. It shows Ethan and his men brutally executing a man in cold blood. Ethan wasn't just a cop. He was the head of a drug-smuggling, bribery-riddled empire. The realization hits Ryan like a freight train. If he hands this over to the police, the very people Ethan controls will just bury it, and him. He tries to call Jessica, but his phone is dead. Across town, Jessica is frantically trying to hotwire a connection, but everything is falling apart. Officer Mooney arrives at the house again. Silence. He peels back to the yard, senses a trap, and draws his weapon. Suddenly, gunfire erupts. The woman from before opens fire. Mooney dives behind a sofa, returns fire, and clears the room. But the truth is devastating. The woman was a cop too. When the backup finally arrives, Mooney realizes he's surrounded by corruption. Even the man he's reporting to is on Ethan's payroll. He's on his own. And back at the hideout, Jessica's desperate attempt to call for help has backfired. The signal hit a landline and Ethan knows. He's coming back for her, and this time he's not just talking, he's gonna make her pay. The air in the room was thick with tension. As Ethan loomed over her, demanding to know who Shed reached out to, Jessica didn't flinch. In one lightning-fast motion, she snatched a shard of glass and slashed his throat. He had minutes to live, maybe less. Jessica bolted toward the warehouse to save her son, but Ethan's crew was already closing in, hauling her husband in chains. She shoved young Ricky into the dark corner of the warehouse, whispering for him to stay silent, no matter what. She didn't wait for backup. She hijacked a police cruiser and rammed it straight into the facility. In the ensuing chaos, Ricky scrambled to safety, but the kidnappers weren't done yet. They dragged Jessica and her husband out, guns drawn, demanding to know who was pulling the strings. Suddenly, the phone rang. It was Ryan. Head tracked them down, and now he had the leverage. He offered a trade, the family's freedom in exchange for the evidence Ethan was desperate to bury. Ryan kept the call brief, playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse. He lured Ethan to a drop site, all while hiding his identity. But the plan went sideways when Chloe showed up and, in a moment of tragic irony, revealed Ryan's location by yanking off his cap. The police, led by Mooney, were there, but so were the corrupt cops. Ryan was captured and dragged before Ethan, who beat him within an inch of his life. Just as the villains prepared to finish everyone off, the tide turned. Officer Mooney uncovered the truth about the corrupt officers and engaged in a brutal, knockdown fight, neutralizing them one by one. Ryan, bloodied and battered, saw his opening. He dove into the water, caught his captor off guard, and fought back with everything he had. Ethan hunted them through the darkness, cornering Mooney. That's when Ryan pulled his final trick. He called Ethan's phone. The ringtone betrayed the killer's position in the shadows. Mooney didn't miss. A single shot sent Ethan crashing to the ground, his reign of terror finally over. Meanwhile, Jessica turned the tables on her guard, strangling him with a chain and freeing her husband. By the time Ryan limped out to meet them, the nightmare was over. The skepticism of the authorities had been silenced by the cold, hard proof Ryan had captured on his phone. The corrupt network was dismantled, the family was safe, and the guy everyone thought was just a reckless, immature kid had stepped up to become their savior. Even Chloe, seeing the man he had truly become, couldn't help but see him in a brand new light. Ryan wasn't just the guy with the camera phone anymore. He was the hero who refused to hang up.